All right, some highlights for you from the Indian Super League. And you can see some former superstars of the English Premier League, of the Serie A, of the La Liga, now plying their trade in India. Looks like the money is good. And some of these guys have decided to retire in India. Fantastic. All right, we hope that our league also will be able to attract some of the best players in the world. Let them come back home to retire. And that can only happen if we get it spot on with the welfare of players in the league. And that takes us to the next part of the show. But before I talk Bayelsa United and all the troubles, Yemi Adebayo has joined us on Sports Tonight. Yemi, good to have you on Sports Tonight this midweek.
It's always a pleasure.
All right. So let's talk about Bayelsa United. I mean, our friend in Bayelsa, we don't want to call his name, obvious reasons, for some of the pictures that is sent to us about Bayelsa United players and Bayelsa Queens players, and what happened today in Yenagoa when the players decided to take to the streets. And all forms of placards, do it now.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying on the screen. Yemi, do it now. Pay us our money.
Fulfill our promise. Fulfill your promise.
The players,
it is not fair. It is not right.
Oh my God.
It's sad.
This is the end of the season.
Yeah.
Players are supposed to just go home, relax, go for pre-season, and go on holidays.
In spite of not being paid,
they take your money.
They survived the drop.
Do it now. That's Muti Adegoke.
It's really sad. Apart from the placards, there were songs. Went to the government house.
Not just Bayelsa United.
Yeah,
Bayelsa Queens as well.
Yes, and there was solidarity. They were, both sets of players were being owed money. I think this is the second
season in a row for Bayelsa United. They said they are protesting their sign-on fees for 2 seasons.
Yeah, and you have players that have been owed money dating back 4 or 5 years. It's not really looking good, and I mean, some of the players narrated their ordeal. You know, all of these things. I mean, it's better imagined
than experience.
Than experience.
I do want to experience it. Although he can tell you a little bit about being old for 2 years. But guys, on a more serious note, this has become a trend. We saw Dolphins, we saw Rivers, Sharks of Port Harcourt, Rivers Angels. We saw Aqua United, do this. Even Bayelsa did this before the last round of games in the Globe Premier League. Now they are back at it. But it's disturbing for me because this season is supposed to be rest time. After a long season, you're supposed to go to rest, and then the club will plan a pre-season. You're supposed to go travel with your family, all around, relax.
Get the time off.
Recharge your batteries. But this is the time to pursue your money.
Yes, I think the players, they are not left, they don't have any other option than to demonstrate. Like you said, they did that on the eve of the last round of matches. They went to the government house. The governor, I learned, was presenting the budget to the House of Assembly, and they were prevailed upon not to cause chaos. And they sheathed their swords. They played the last round of games.
And thankfully, they avoided the
result. For me, in all this, what is the role of the Nigeria Football Federation? On Monday, beg your pardon, Eric Akon, a Ghanaian, went to FIFA. And FIFA, effectively ruled that Rangers. What is the role of the Nigeria Football Federation? You see, for goodness sake, if these clubs cannot pay their players, then they should wind up. They should.
There's no reason to be in business.
Because shut down the club. If the state government can't fund these clubs, then they should close. They should, wind up, pay the players off, and move on. Because how can you call yourself a professional footballer every year, just like Mutu cried the placard? They tell you stories. We're going to pay. We're going to pay today, tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes.
Guys, one of the things you need to understand that these guys are breadwinners.
Yeah.
Their families look up to them for livelihood.
It's a reflection of the society we live in. You said it's a disturbing trend. You listed some places where this thing happened, and the players will tell you that the bottom line is when those players did whatever they did,
they got something.
They got something, and maybe that's why they're doing it. And even if you look at our society, people go on strike to get their demands, and it's really sad. And that's why I have no other reason than to agree with Onye. Look, you have no business being in the league if you're going to employ people and not pay them. You can give the excuse that, okay, what do I get from the league? But you knew all of that before you went into the league and you employed these players. It's just like ruining a man's life, because If a guy used the better part of his life, when he's agile, when he's young, when he's strong, when he's vibrant, to serve you, and he has nothing to show for it. And some of these players get injured. I mean, some of these players, I mean, you heard disturbing stories about players owing foodstuff sellers money, I mean, owing transporters money, owing the guys they buy. I mean, simple things for sustenance, owing that kind of money. And you wonder, I mean,
what are they playing for?
What are they playing for? It's really sad.
Guys, let me take you on another issue very quickly before we go on to some other things. Last season, the league management company came up with a lot of measures. Club licensing must take effect from December 2014. Yep. That's a few weeks from now. We all saw how difficult it was for these clubs to meet up to the conditions that the league management company set out last year. Guarantees for your players, and these are the lowest level of club licensing possible.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. What do you expect this season? What advice would you give the league management company? How strict should they be? What should be our role in making clubs comply with whatever conditions are set out for them before the beginning of the season? Because once the league kicks off and clubs don't meet up the basic requirements, we're going to be having situations like this, on and on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, the LMC have to be firm and fair. You know, when you come up with rules, let it be applicable to all the clubs, so that no club will now begin to feel that
I'm being victimized.
We are bending the rules for certain. So they have to be firm. They have, lofty ideas, but they have to be firm. I mean, these are issues that are obtainable elsewhere in the world. CAF has said that December the licensing policies, will be uniform.
If you are not,
if you are not
playing continental football,
call the club owners or whoever they are, the rub minds and tell them that, gentlemen, it's not going to be business as usual. Yeah. It's not going to be business as usual.
Is over.
The honeymoon is over. So you have to stick, or you ship up or you ship out. So that is the way. We can't continue like this. If we have to move forward, we can't continue like this. When changes come, people will criticize. But if you know you're on the right track, you maintain that track.
Stick to it.
Stick to it. At the end of the day, the people who are criticizing you in the past will now say, okay, this guy, we've seen it.
We've seen it.
We know what we are doing.
We see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I will join the trade. And I don't really like the excuse when people throw it at you and say, oh, we have a lot of government clubs. If you're going to run a club, whether it's state-owned or it's private, do things properly. So if you're going to run a club, I mean, put the right people in the right place. Whenever you dispose the money, ensure that it gets to where it should get. And I feel that the LMC, like you said, put your foot on the ground. If you're going to have 10 clubs at the end of the day, fine.
That will make up to the conditions.
Healthy clubs that will know who are players. And I mean, we should not allow what obtains in the society begin to affect football. Football should be able to stand. Rules are rules. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you know. It doesn't matter who is behind you. Everybody should
comply.
Be equal before the law. And that is the only way forward. And on the road to recovery, we have to begin to do all those things. And it will also encourage private individuals to come into all of these things when they know that the rules
are followed.
Yeah.
All right, what can we say? Well, we were told that after the protest today, the players of Bayelsa United were eventually able to meet Mr. Governor. And Mr. Governor promised that about this time next week, something good will be happening. So we want to say thank you to Mr. Governor and pray that by this time next week, his word will be law.
Yeah.
The players will smile and they'll be able to go on a good rest, and then we can talk about pre-season, and then we can look forward to it. And we're also using it as a point of contact for all the other clubs and all the other state executives that are having this same kind of issues, that it's something that should be resolved as quickly as possible.